65 Delta station, A65 Delta, working some stateside station with a big pileup and a monster signal coming from east coast of states. But yes, the band is not so stable. Okay, maybe it's the rest of the magnetic storm coming on the last weekend. I remember walking a good friend from Toronto on 10 meters band on the last weekend, and the band switching very quickly. Okay, just at the time to say giving the best regards, and after the band they're definitely cutting. But yes, it's a condition on the winter, I think. Okay, higher band after the gray lines go down very rapidly. I think it's a right condition for the winter season. Low bander is very active, like the 40 meters, and just a little bit with more stability. And on 80, it's yes, 80 is special. 80 meters is very special with the size of the antenna system, and a couple of maybe big gun working on 80 meters with Yagi system, something like that, and four square also. But yes, I have a good antenna for 80 meters band, but on the 2.3s last year, the condition is not very good. You know, I heard sometimes, but the condition is not very good. I remember maybe 10 years ago on my early morning working some station from Caribbean and stateside, and during the evening calling a lot of station from Pacific area like the Japanese, sometimes the VK also, but 2-3 last year the condition is not very good. This is the story in this site. Steve. K1GMM, HB9TWY.
Yeah, K1GMM. Boy, I would have a ton of questions for you. And it looks like my pure signal stopped working. Figures. I'm on the Anan today. Oh, there it is, just snapped into shape. Very quirky transceiver. Not recommended, but I run it just because I have it. I was just thinking this morning, I took a ride up to the store and I thought, I should put the vertical back up. I had a vertical up. It was a 65-foot vertical, and it seemed to work really well on in the DX window. This was, 3 years ago, I think? 2 or 3 years ago. It just doesn't seem like, 75, 80 meters is working the way it was. And I got thinking, well, why am I going to do that? Why don't I ran a Moxon rectangle pointed northeast over towards Europe, and that was a great antenna. And it didn't have to be up very high. I think it was up about 60 feet at the time. And now after talking to you, I'm rethinking that. I don't know if it's worth it, to be honest with you. Because another reason why I say that is because I was listening to some guys, I think this was on 40, and this was a few weeks ago, and they said, yeah, the band is just, and they work, one of them's up in the, Prince Edward Island area or something like that, north of me, up, a couple of them are up on the coast there. And I listen to them. They work, VK, Pacific, on long path all the time. Well, they did on 80 meters. I'd listen to them, and they said it's terrible. So I don't know what I should do. Would you waste your time? I guess my question is, would you go ahead and waste your time playing with some type of antenna that would work for DX at this point, or would you hold off for a little while? I know that's a tough one. K1GMM, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I think I understand your question. I'm not sure. Okay, my English is not very terrible. Sorry for that, Steve. Okay, yeah. But yes, I have a lot of delta loop for DXing on a low bander with good IR. But yes, definitely the band is not terrible. And for 42 element for full size Yagi, up to 120 feet also, the same IR to my antenna using in this moment. But definitely, yes, maybe the polarization is a little bit important, depending also the condition and also the nosy you have. Okay, but what's the question again? Okay, I'm not sure I understand that. Over.
Yeah, my apologies. I apologize. The question is, if you were me, would you waste your time getting a good antenna up for DX applications for 80 meters over?
Oh, okay. Yeah, depending also the place, you know. But maybe the good compromise, the vertical antenna as well, vertical on the ground. I think it's good. You have a little bit of place for to placing to pushing the radials on the ground. That's also a good opportunity. Maybe the reverse is the nosy coming by the vertical polarization. Sometimes you have obligatory using the Rx antenna for receiving, like the loop system and the beverage, like K9TWY, something like that. But yes, full wave also it's good compromise, and loop maybe a loop antenna. But yes, definitely a full wave is very, very bigger. Yes, this I have three delta loop in the side on the different direction. The top it's 120 feet. The base around the yes. I'm looking for the conversion in feet also. Maybe 40 feet for the base. I'm feeding with a ladder line. One is a ladder line, and two others are feeding with a balance system. You know, that's a good compromise, a little bit on the slooper condition. But yes, you have a lot of antenna system for the good DX. Maybe inverted L is great. You have no place. The problem is always the counterpoise with the radial system. Yes, maybe. Yes, vertical loop also. Vertical loop as well. There's a lot of antenna, depending also your place you have. 80 meters is yes, definitely so bigger antenna. Yes, but I think compared to the Yagi on 84 square, four square system is good. But yes, that's giving taking a lot of place, definitely. But I like that. I like the phase array. Antenna in phase on the vertical, like phase array, like 4 square. I think the 4 square is best to compromise. You don't push the tower system. The 4 square is definitely the great compromise on the low bander, like 80 and the top end. Yes, working and build some equipment on contestation, and also the chance for to compare the different antenna system for the Xing and the long travel also. Yes, no ID, especially still. Okay, antenna, the antenna it's so large. The choice of the antenna is so large for the Xing, depending a lot of things you have on the place, on the take, and all is important. Okay. But yes, it's always a compromise. You have maybe a lot of place. The choice is very bigger, but it's not that in this side. Hi. Quite lucky for the countries, small countries, and good station. But yes, it's always a compromise on the low bander. Microphone back to you. Over.
Yeah, thanks, Jan. One thing I noticed, I meant to say something before. Have you ever, this is another question. So I am running a vertical end fed, and I use it for diversity noise canceling, but I also use it for cross-polarized listening, right, for diversity reception. To see if, with the QSB on the bands, it seems like sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. So what I do is one of the transceivers I have here, what I'm on right now, has two independent receivers, and I'm able to bring both of them in and mix them both together. And sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. And mostly I'm looking to reduce the fade. You know what I mean? The heavy fading. Have you ever messed with that at all with like another receive antenna, like a cross-polarized setup? Go ahead.
Yes. Yes. I'm looking at before that this condition, you know. And here on my properly station, here I rebuilt my story in this on this station I using now. I rebuilt this station around 2 years. 2 years ago, and I am on the X-meal farmer. You know, I am on the X-meal farmer, and I'm using the X-flow silo on the concrete material to push up the antenna system on the air. With the Yagi, with a lot of wire system also. But in my private station, in my personal station, using maybe 15, 20 years ago, around 20 years, I think in 2004. And yes, I pushing maybe a long wire, and I remember the a loop antenna, and I connected the two antennae at the same time, and sometimes the nosy go down, you know, with the phase system. The nosy go down, depending also the polarization you're using on the long wire and the double polarization coming by the vertical loop antenna. And the nosy just go down a little bit, and also ratio nosy go down. Ratio nosy up a little bit, okay? Like the, I think you know that, the special box, you have the antenna for transmitting, and in reception you push another antenna system to capture the nosy floor you have on the local nosy, and you're making the melange with different phase with a special box also, and also sometimes helps you on the nosy, and yes, sometimes the reception is not so stable comparatively to the only one antenna and one polarization you're using. It's only my experience in this thing, Steve. But yes, I think the live over the radio hum is always the test and looking for the better condition on your place, on your special place. The good antenna you have on your station maybe don't working in your neighbors. That's always the same problem with the radio. I checking that before on the path, and yes, it's strange, but it's exactly that. Okay, I definitely I like to like you, I am sure, experiment a lot of antenna system, lot of different condition on the anti-antenna, and also diverse polarization design, etc. I like that. Okay, my special I prefer the full wave, definitely, on the whole banner. I think making quite of time the good compromise for the full wave, like the delta loop. My special I prefer the delta loop design on every band, and also different polarization, definitely. Always I return on this design. I built many antenna for many bands, but always I return on the full wave. Also testing a phase system for a delta loop, especially on the delta loop, and definitely that's working well. It's my maybe a little experience. Hi. Microphone back to you, Steve. K1GMM, HB9TWY, have it?
Yeah, HB9TWY, K1GMM. So I'm you know what they say, the loop life, right? I love loops, deltas, stuff like. Of course, I have 3 deltas up, and at one point for 3 different bands, 20 and 40, those are not phased. They run on open stubs, providing enough loading to make the parasitic element look like it's longer than it it's electrically longer than it physically is, right? Squirts the RF out in one of 2 directions. So I tried it on tune the loops for the DX window on 80 meters, and I think that was the best antenna I've ever had up. There were 2 80-meter loops out front. I mean, it was, you know how big they are, 200 and can't remember what they are, 250 something feet, I think. And that was a monster. That was probably the best antenna. The close second to that, and it might have been equal, was a Moxon rectangle, much easier to put up. That in much smaller, right? But I couldn't reverse it. I did try a reversible Moxon, never could quite get it right, you know. Hold on. So You mentioned, I think are you running a delta loop on 80 meters? And how is it configured? Because I have something I need to ask you about that. If you're running a delta loop on 80, how do you have it oriented and fed? Over?
Okay, yes, I have no choice. Habitually the better condition, it's just you feeding with maybe a 75 ohm coaxial cable, like the normal motor system on the a quarter wave of the peak. That's, I think, for my opinion, it's the better choice for to feeding the delta. But here I have no choice. I feeding all the time on the peak. Okay. Well, one the delta loop for 80 feeding was a louder line. 450 ohms coming in on the shack on the manual tuner, and 200 are feeding also on the peak with 1 to 1 balloon and 4 to 1 balloon. The problem, I have the problem here with the impedance. Okay, the impedance is so yes. Just to translate, it's so yes, the impedance is 85 ohms. The normal delta loop coming with 100 and 110, 115, 120 sometimes, depending also the higher of the delta loop. But my delta loop is so high, and the impedance coming around the 85 ohms. Okay, and the normal balloons like two on one and 4 to 1 is not the best choice. Okay, maybe looking for the compromise on the balloon system with maybe 2.5 on 1 and maybe something the transformation like that. You're coming with 85 ohms on the peak of the antenna. That's not so great. That's different on the feeding with totally a quarter wave section of 75 ohms. Okay, that's working well. You have maybe the antenna around 2 meters, like 2 meters off the ground, 3 meters off the ground, around 10 feet. On the 6 to 10 feet approximately. That's a great value to the matching system on the 75 ohms, but not like me, But yes, this antenna working well, making the test on the 2 last year, and working West Coast on the gray lines, during my gray lines on the end of the afternoon during the winter season. I listen for the first time the Hand 7, November 7 station from West Coast on the long pass. And I making I pushing the reflector, I switching on the element, the another loop, okay? The proximity to the 3 different loop, it's so close, still. And I pushing on the selector of the antenna system, and that's closing like the reflector system on the delta loop I using for transmitting. Okay. And I cutting a lot of noisy also. That's a big advantage. I see that before with another station from Europe. Okay, another station from Europe calling most of time, but don't listening, and I listening well. Advantages I listening well with the like the reflector on the delta loop. Okay, That's a big advantage also. You're getting a little bit of nosy floor you have. And sometimes the report is very weak. And it's possible on the pushing on the another different delta loop, with no radiation. That's making like the reflector system on the radiated delta loop I'm using for transmitting. I'm not sure you understand what I say, but sorry, my brain is on fire. Sorry for that. With a translation to French and English. Okay. Oh, it's just the rest of the school, learning a little bit English on the school, but a very long time. Sorry for that, Steve, but I am sure you understand a little bit that also. Microphone back to you, over.
K1GMM. No, I get it. I got it. I got it. So you are feeding that loop so it's apex up, correct? In other words, the delta loop has the point at the top, correct? That's where you're feeding it, over?
Yes, that's right. You get that? That's right, Steve. I'm feeding with a ladder line system. It's the antenna for the 300 degrees, okay? Like the, double direction maybe. Like the 300 degrees, like for stateside. And double direction for you on short and long path. Okay, you understand right. And this loop working very well. It's just a little bit on slooper. Around the 45 degrees. And the base is on my neighbor's house, and the roof it's on the metallic parts. All the roof it's on metallic parts, and also I think that's making a little bit on the reflector system. Okay, I have only one loop like that. Okay, pass on the roof of my neighbors around 40 feet. For the higher, and I switch on the another loop to pushing like the reflector system. Yes, it's not too easy to understand that, but yes, you imagine the concrete silo. It's up to 110 feet approximately. It's a higher of the silo, and on the three different direction I have the delta loop. Okay. Yes, the parallel wire on the delta loop. It's maybe 5 meters. Yes, around 15 feet to spacing the wire delta loop. Okay, on the parallel design. Okay, it's not exactly the two-element like habitual design with the reflector and radiator system, but yes, the 200 loop. Working like the reflector. I am sure for that. I see before I switch on this antenna, and the nosy go down drastically. Nosy go down maybe 10 dBs, and it's with this 10 dB is the difference of my nosy floor. I listen the weaker signal coming from West Coast. Yes. I see that before, and making a lot of tests on the path. Okay, I hope you understand. I see. Microphone back to you, Steve. Over.
Okay, I do understand. You're actually doing well, but I don't want to. I don't want to set your brain on fire. I don't get to chat with too many people across the. A lot of people won't take the time to chat, and I'm always looking. I'm like a sponge, Jan. I'm like a sponge. I just soak up all this stuff, And information is power, so I'm always interested in what other people are doing. So that antenna is horizontally polarized with moderately high angle radiation. I'm a big delta loop freak, so that's why I asked you where you were feeding it and how it was oriented. So my loops, including the 80 meter loop, is fed from the bottom apex down. So it's flipped from yours, which is basically the same thing. Moderately high angle, horizontally polarized, right? And it just doesn't seem to work that good for DX compared to the other antennas I've tried, by itself. If I put another one, like I ran two, equal size, like I said, I had two. I think they were spaced 40 feet apart, not a wide spacing. So they were 40 feet apart and they were identical, and they ran on open stubs as well. And those were wicked, absolutely wicked. And what I found is that one loop is good, but you stick another loop behind that, the gloves come off. I mean, it turns into a whole different animal. That's why I run them on 20 and 40. One loop, yeah, it's okay. But boy, you put another loop behind that, that's crazy. I mean, I would love to see someone model it, but I don't think the model is going to be accurate because, like on 40 meters, the 2-element deltas I have up back, let's say I'm on a dipole, right? 40 meter dipole, and I've tested this. It would take me anywhere from 500 to 700 watts on a dipole to get the equivalent signal report on those 2-element loops running anywhere from 70 to 100 watts. I kid you not. It takes the amp completely out of the equation. They're beastly. But the drawback is they only go one of two directions at any given time, right? They don't turn. They're not on a tower. They're not on a rotator. So, right? You have to give it a little thought as to where you want to work and how you want them oriented. That's the big drawback to that kind of a setup, One interesting thing I found, right? So I've run a bunch of different antennas on 80 meters, and that 65-foot vertical, so it was a quarter wave, and I only had 12 1/8 wave radials underneath it. And that thing was amazing at what it did. I could actually hear, and I live in a very difficult place to play any kind of radio as far as long haul stuff, right? I live in a very deep valley, basically in a canyon, and I'm flanked by 3,000 and 4,000 foot mountains on my east and west side. And I could actually hear, this was, I think 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago. I could actually hear VK for the first time. I was like, holy cow, check that out. I didn't bother to try and work him because there, it was a madhouse in there. But I heard him well. He was about an S8, S9, and I have never heard VK that strong on any antenna I've had up here. And most likely it was coming, chasing the gray line. Gray line was just coming in late afternoon. It was in the wintertime. And so it was a long path, most likely going southeast, coming in from the southeast from here. Couldn't believe it, Jan. I was like, well, that's a winner. That's a winner right there. Just a single element vertical actually outperformed all the other ones on that path, but it does make sense because all my antennas are oriented to go northeast and southwest, not northwest and southeast. You see what I'm saying? That's where the vertical came in handy. HB9TWY, K1GMM, over.
Okay. Okay, very fine, Steve. Yes, all understand. All understand. I think for the vertical antenna system, the importance also is the quality of the ground. And just a question, yes, you push. I understand 1/8 land on the radial section, directly on the ground and no elevated radials. Just I testing. I did that, I testing before on the contestation 2 different antenna. One with elevated radials, 4 elevated radials for 80 meters band, with the right longer of the quarter wave section, and also comparatively to the vertical on the grounds, with the radials on the grounds. But yes, maybe many radials, okay, maybe 120 radials of the quarter wave longer on the grounds for 80 meters band. And definitely the best choice is the vertical on the ground, you know. Maybe I have 3, 4, sometimes 5, 6 dBs for the difference. That's a lot of dBs. Okay, and I understand the compromise on the different direction with the 2 elements delta loop system, don't rotating, and also with vertical polarization walking around the world. Oh yes, depending also you opening area with the mountain columns, something like that. But yes, sometimes the experimentation help us a little bit, you know. On my private area, I living on the last level of the big building. I using my terrace for to push up the antenna system on the air, and also I have the metallic parts. I have 65 meters on the metallic parts around my terrace, and also metallic parts pass on the on my neighbor's terrace also. And I connecting the ground system on this large piece of metallics. And yes, definitely vertical polarization working very well. But yes, sometimes the reverse is a nosy ratio. But yes, definitely I see that before on the experimentation with a phase array. Yeah, you know. I working with this 4 elements phase array quarter wave on 20 meters band. Yes, like the Chrisman system. Okay, but I push 200 vertical on the line. It's not a 4 square. Okay, you know the 4 vertical on the line spacing with the quarter wave system. And cutting a lot of coaxial cables for the delay. Build the delay box also, and I have the choice to the placing the radiation antenna. Okay, you know, and compare it to my good friends living in Germany. Have a 4-element Yagi beam for 20 meters band, and testing the phase array, the 4 vertical in phase in line, comparatively to the 4-element system. And I have only 1 point go down with my system comparatively to the 4-element vertical. Okay. Yes, definitely Aggie turning with a rotator, etc. I don't turning the house. I don't turning my system on the 4 vertical in line, but yes, working, looking some difference with the simple vertical and also the parasite and also phase vertical in phase. And definitely it's good choice. It's good choice. You have no towers, no Yagis. Yes, but the vertical is the good. I think the good system, simple vertical on the ground. Always depending the ratio of the nosy you have by the local nosy, by the some consumer on the neighbors. Power supply, Chinese power supplies, lightning, something like that. But yes, that's great. That's great. It's for that. It's important you build your properly antenna system to checking the better compromise on every band. I think is important situation. Very, very important situation. Okay. And yes, for the radio exchange on the different queues. So I like that also. Okay, taking the best compromise on the guys working and testing every design on the antenna system for short and long travel, long DXing or not. I'm very interesting with that, like you, Steven, definitely. And second thing is taking the time to short this live. The live is short, sorry. Live is short. And taking the time to changing. Okay. Yeah, sometimes with the contest, I like to making a lot of contact on the quickly times. But also taking the time, I see, I copy and watching 1,000 times the same station is not a problem, you know. Two things is important in the radio and until the life, it's a respect and spirit and respect. I think it's two better things. And yes, important you have a little bit of a change on the different band, you know. Just the problem is the language, you know. Okay, English is so easy, but I forget a lot of words before. With my age,
coffee is cold.
Yes, vocabulary becoming again with the practice. That's an important thing also. But yes, the problem is that you are speaking with a Russian and Japanese station is not the same. And but I am lucky. It's possible I speaking 50 minutes, 1 hour with same guys and. The guys all understand I say, like you. That is also important thing, you know. But very enjoyed with this quiz. So, Steve, microphone back to you. Over.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun, and slipped my mind. Oh. I need your opinion. This is the last question. I promise I'm not going to torment you anymore. Speaking of the vertical, this is something I've been thinking of because you mentioned the radials. What do you think would happen? I can do this. I have very tall trees here. So I have trees that are, 100 to 110 feet tall. And I thought about putting that 80 meter vertical back up, right? Suspend it between two trees in the clear with a piece of paracord at the top of it. I could pull that thing up literally 90 plus feet in the air, the top of it, which would pull the feed point off the ground by, let's say, if I ran it at, let's say I could get it up 90 feet. I put it up 90 feet. That would put the feed point 30 feet off the ground. Then I could run the radials elevated. So it would be an elevated 80 meter vertical. I can't run quarter wave radials on it, but I could run 1/8 wave radials and double them up. Maybe try like 8 1/8 wave radials suspended. They wouldn't be on the ground. They wouldn't touch the ground. They'd be suspended. Pull them off. I don't think I could get a 45 out of them because they're still about, they'd be 32 feet long maybe. How do you think that would work? Because I've been thinking I could do that easily. HB9TWY K1GMM.
Okay, Steve. I understand that. Yes, it's always harder to imagine the design, but yes, I understand exactly what you're saying. But yes, it's always the problem. You know, you have the two. You're using two different systems in the same time. To looking the difference, switching one antenna 1, antenna 2, and to see the difference on the S meter, on the receiving system, also on transmission. It's always harder to imagine the difference, really difference of efficiency. But for my personal experience, definitely the better condition is the radials on the ground. 1/8 and quarter wave, something like that, depending also the place you have. But yes, maybe the higher of the feed point is important thing, you know. The higher of the feed point is important thing. And you definitely checking good impedance.
I wonder if that would really mess things up.
Any radiation of the HF. That's also the very important thing. Maybe on my experience also, you know, the vertical, grounded vertical impedance is around 36 ohms. Okay, not like 50 exactly. And with the 11/8 radials, you approach the 50 ohms impedance. That's also the experience. But yes, maybe it's good. Okay, maybe it's good with the elevated feed point. Maybe that's making a good compromise. Okay, I imagine that. But definitely, it's possible to compare it antenna 1, antenna 2 in same time. It's the best choice, you know, like the vertical comparatively to the simple dipole, something like that. Okay, I'm sure you're testing that before, and with the different polarization and different time of the day and the night, you see also difference. And also the noisy ratio you have on your area. Yes, definitely, it's harder to imagine that's working or not, you know. But definitely, the experimentation with the antenna system is great. I'm sure for that. Giving a lot of time, take a lot of time, sorry, but is important thing. I think all the radio arm, I don't push in the credit cards on the internet to buy the simple wire system like the 9 to 1 balloon, something like that. I think to to buy the simple core system, your wiring, etc., and testing also. Some equipment exists too now with like the analyzer on the low price. It's good to looking the difference on the different on the different antenna design. That's I am sure important thing.
Man just fell.
Don't keep longer. Just maybe taking a cup of coffee to refresh my brain and a glass of water. But very enjoyable speaking with you in this afternoon still. Very, very enjoyable taking the time. And definitely good exchange on the different experience with the antenna system. I give my best 73s for you and your families. Happy Christmas, Happy New Year. And see you next time for to continue this beautiful QSO still. K1GMM, HB9TWY. Over.
Yeah, HB9TWY. The band just fell out. It just fell out. Hopefully you can still hear me, Jan. 737373. And thank you. One of the best QSOs I have ever had. So I appreciate you taking the time. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hopefully do it again soon. All the best to the family there, HB9TWY. Been a pleasure this side, brother. K1GMM. We'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you so much, buddy. And all is okay, okay? You switching down S1, but radio is super fine. Radio is super fine. Yes, the band switching a little bit. Thank you so much for whole Steve, and see you next time. K1GMM, HB9TWY. Take care, my friend.
Thank you too. We'll see you soon. K1GMM.
Delta Charlie.
Okay, Marty, you by? The Delta Charlie.
Uniform Alpha 3, Zulu Delta Charlie, Roger?
Yes, UA3ZDC, 73s, my friend. And thank you so much for the call. You're 57, 587, or?
QSL, my friend. This is Uniform Alpha 3, Zulu Delta Charlie. Good afternoon, Uniform Signal 5x9, 59. My name is Gennady, Roger?
Yes, fine copy, Gennady. Thank you so much for the 5x9. I turning for stateside, not in Russia in this moment, but I think on the back scatter.
Hey, Jan, just a shout out. Thanks so much for a really nice QSO. You have yourself a great holiday season. Hopefully do it again soon. And everybody else watching, we'll catch you guys later. Don't know if I'll be around before Christmas, quite possibly. See you later.